Hey everybody, welcome back to the build the church. Today we are focusing on the installation of the tower windows and door, and then attaching that to the tower building, which I already have started. And then we'll go on to install the cap, and then I've decided, after much deliberation, on the roof peaks, I am going to leave them as is in the build because the way I want to do it, it's just not working out right. And with everything going on between work and things at home, I just didn't really want to take the time to modify that and change it. So we're just going to leave. We're going to leave these the way they are in the kit. So with that said, let's jump on in, and I'll give a few updates at the end with other projects that are coming, and whatever we're going to be getting to. So let's get the tower built, finished built. Where we left off last time is we got the main structure done. I'm not going to be working on that in this video, but the next step for that is the windows, and we'll get that done and come back and show you that. You'll get to see how I apply them because I'm doing them now for this kit on the tower. So I'm going to work from the top down so that I can just get this done. A quick note is, I know I read in the beginning on this kit, right here, one of the parts in this kit is taped to a piece, and it is extremely delicate. Well, after getting the wall painted and supported, my little lamp above my workbench that's been clamped down for a long time in place decided to pop off while I was at work, and it actually broke this delicate piece. It couldn't do it to one of the other walls where it'd be easier just to cut a new piece and make it work. The decorative piece to the tower is the one that got targeted, and I fixed it to the best I could, which actually came out okay, but it kind of helps make the church look a little older. The intention for this build is to not be really old or anything like that. It's kind of in between an update and aged. So maybe they didn't really repair a whole lot. Maybe they just threw a coat of paint on it to kind of update the structure with coating of paint. So that's kind of an update of what's gone on. Other than that, other than enjoying a cup of hot coffee on a cold day today here in Oregon, we are going to get this tower built. So let's get it built, get this wall glued in, and then we can start working on gluing the top piece in. So with that, let's get to it. So first, we are going to I always do the window trim. And I just take my blade of my knife and just kind of peel the back off, as this is just a sticker. I just peel it off. What I like to do for these is I like to just apply them with tweezers, because tweezers make it a lot easier to see for video. Let me go in and see if I can't zoom in. There we go. And I just lay it down over the window opening, right about where I want it. And I just hold it with one end, I let go. And I just kind of make sure it looks good. Might need a little bit of straightening, a little bit, you know, but that's okay. And the whole purpose of this is to make it aligned so that when you put the insert in, you can do good. Other times what I do, and it's worked, is I'll just take the window and I will place it. And I will do this one just to show you how I do it. Some reason why I do it this way is because then you have your little bit of a gap and you can just apply the whole window and it's good. Other times I've actually had to do is take this and put the window in place first and everything else. The goal is to get the window to just sit inside the frame, and then you have enough of the adhesive to stick to the wall. So let's see how this goes. And that's not going to work there. Okay. Sometimes you have to adjust the window to go in. There we go. I like taking the windows and just getting them to kind of pop in. And what I do is I just gradually just trim right lightly around the window. Because I like my windows sitting on the window on the inside, and then the frame to go over that, and then on the back side I will stick the thing. So what I do is I just kind of gradually take my knife and just trim a little with it a little bit, and it's not very hard. And this is how I custom each window. Every window install is different. You got to remember that. One will go in easier than another and stuff like that. This is kind of what I wanted to show you how I do it. Honestly, this is how I trim down the windows just enough to where the window will slide in. Where I like it, where it works for me. Oops, I'm sorry guys, didn't even get that on the camera. So what I do here is now the windows, now that I've trimmed it, I got a little much on this side, but that ain't gonna matter because I'm gonna put the covering over it now. Now the window's installed. All I gotta do is make sure it's even with the wall. Pretty darn good, like that. So what I did, I'll recap real quick. So what I did is, and I'm gonna do the next one. So let me put the window thing on, and then I'll recap what I did real quick for you guys. There. So now I got the first one done, I will show you the second one even better. So here's the window. This is the top window. The only thing left for me to do is to put the glass in on the back side, and I take, to preserve the adhesive, I leave it on until I'm ready. So I get all this part done, and then all I got to do is just slide in the glass. So the glass is the last thing on all the windows. So what I initially did is I just shaved with my blade down like this. And the reason why I do that is because it not only cleans up the laser cut from the laser, but it also allows me, I fit the opening to the window, and then I just slide over the top trim. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do this. I'm going to hopefully try to do this so you guys can see what I'm doing. So I'm going to show, it's a lot easier to show you what I'm going to do, and then I'm going to do it, and then I'll show you what the result is. So I'm going to come along here, and I'm just going to just kind of gradually just use my knife and knock down the sides and everything. I want to do this on video to show you what I do and why I do it. I'm sure there's people out there asking me, why am I doing it this way? Well, you know, it's like I said, it's the way I do it. But it also is pretty cool. You know, you can get yourself a really cool resolve. And like I said, this piece took some damage, and it didn't quite work. So anyway, so I'm having to I made it into a cool little learning lesson, and showing you what I did to cope with it. So all I did is, this actually came apart into like 4 pieces when my lamp hit it. And so what happened was it landed right on this center right piece here, and it broke here, here, and here. And when I went to come pick it up, it actually broke here. So I had to glue all 4 spots back together, and then immediately brace it. So it kind of was an interesting challenge to make that work and come back to where I wanted it to be. So yeah, but so what I'm doing now is I'm just shaving down the opening a little bit, so it's a fresh, clean surface. And it also gives, it's allowing me to scrape some of any of the excess residue from the glue, now that it's been a few days since I've glued this thing back together. I'm just shaving down that, and just kind of cleaning just on the sides. And sometimes you have to do the tops and bottoms too, but these seem to be okay. It's not the only kit I've done it on. I've done it on a Foscale kit. I've done it on fine scale miniatures kits and everything else. So it's not just Frank. It's the lasers are good, but there's always some cleanup work to it. And I don't like doing my cleanup until right before I do the install of the window, because I can do the window and the install and be done with it and all that. And I just get what I want done. So in this process, I just kind of take my blade and I just kind of little by little get it to where I think it looks good. And then I grab the window and I just put it in, and I see where I need to make my adjustment for getting the window in. And then I just take a little more out on that little section. So this little corner needs to be trimmed down a little bit more. So I'm going to just go right here like that. You know, another, I've seen a good thing that I'm going to try sometime is I see some people actually frame their windows in on these kits. I mean, it's amazing detail, but it's very tedious. But the outcome of it is just so good. I mean, I'm not to that level by any means. I just want to have fun with the build and, you know, bring whatever I have in mind to life, and you know, just share the joy of the hobby. You know, I've had people comment some pretty interesting critiques and stuff, and this channel is what I do, and it's how I do it, and it's not, I'm not saying I'm right or wrong, but you know, it's okay. Now we're ready to put this window in and move on to the door, hopefully. There we go. Let's just slide this window. Okay, so now I got that in. Okay. Perfect. This is just loose enough to where it doesn't want to stay in, but it does fit, which is what I usually aim for, because then I know it's going to stay in when it touches the window. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this other little piece ready to go, and then we're going to put that on and then push the window up against it, and then the windows will be installed. Perfect. So just take it and just lay this down where I want it. Just like that. And then what I'll do is I'll turn this over while the pressure's on that. I will usually take my tweezers, or actually what works best for me. You can use tweezers, but I like to use a toothpick. I grab a toothpick, and this also works just as well for the actual glass and stuff, because that's the next step that we're going to be doing. And what I do is I just take it on both windows and just kind of run them down. As I push a little pressure, I'm just running it around the edge, the inside of the window, because you want that flat. And then I come down here and do the same thing on this window. Get the window in there, get it to sit flat. Yep, there is a hiccup on this window. What is the hiccup? Oh, I didn't get all the debris out. So we are gonna get it out. There we go. Anyway, that's there we go. Make sure I got it all out now. Sometimes it can be a booger, but in the end, I find that it, my patience does pay off. So now I'm gonna get this window in there. There we go. There we go. There we go. It went in finally. And we're good. Now just turn this over and clean it off. And then I adjust the fronts again because I did bump them. There's that. There's that. Perfect. Now, that's what I love about these stick-on ones. They're very forgiving. You just move them back into place, and then they just stay. Look at that. The windows are in. All I gotta do now is get the back peel to come off. Now I got it started. Just take my tweezer to where I can pull it up. There you go. You got the backing off. Now I'm going to grab a window that's up here. Here's a window, and it's going to go right where I want it to go. And I just use the same method. Go ahead and make an adjustment. There we go. Let's see if this will go in now. There we go. Just had a corner of the window not fully trimmed off the skewer properly. And anyway, if this fits right in there, that window's done. Now, I go to the next window. And then I do the same thing. Take out the paper. and snap the window in. Boom. Did I miss this off corner? Yeah, I did. But we'll get it in there. And that's what helps with the Q-tip. Not a Q-tip, but the toothpick. I can run around the corners on the inside of this whole thing, just like this. Just run around with the tip, and it pushes against that, like that. That's all done. The windows are done. Now comes the fun one, the door. Look at that. But the windows are done. Just look at that. They came out, oh well. Got a little bit of paint dropping on there from them doing work, but that's okay. So now we're about half hour into this, so let's just get this one peeled, get the door in, and we'll glue everything and get it in. This will probably be close to a 40 or a little longer video than normal. I didn't get a chance to work on this build as much as I wanted to get it caught up, so we're just having fun with it today. So we just take the tweezers, get this on back up here where my workspace is. Get the tweezers and lay it in place just like that. And what I like to do is turn it over. And I already have the door ready to go. See, there's the door. That's the door. You got to make sure you got the door face out, because on the back side it's all smooth. So you put the smooth side towards you, and then I'm going to put this inside just like that. And for this, I'll use my toothpick to move it around. Whoop. This one's going to be a little bit tricky because these are a little bit, there we go. It actually was not as tricky as I thought it was going to be. But, you know. Okay, so there's that. That gets that down in there. And then what I'll do is I will push the door up to where it belongs. Perfect. Now I'll turn it back over and I'll realign the door frame around the door. You little pill bucket. This is because I had it broke. It's not quite where I want it to be, so it's being a pain. It's being a pain today. Wasn't planning on it. So it's just because this door frame is a little on the warp side, so I'm going to have to just adjust it a little bit right here. Let's see if that helped at all. Well, these got a little bit warped a little bit, and that's why it's so fragile. So now I'm able to just slide the door in. Easy does it. Perfect. Now that's looking a lot easier, like it'll go in nicely. And then I just take my little door frame around, and then I just place it right over all of that. And then I just adjust it with my fingers because it's Do, 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 do. As I said, this door frame is having to be adjusted a little bit slightly different because this has had a mishap, and right now I am okay with the way it is turning out right now. Because, and I'm just on the back side, I am just making sure it's kind of where I want it. Like that. Give it some good pressure so it's going to stick. But that's the problem with some of these darn things, is that it does not want to work the way you want it to work. So just have to make things work the best you can. Honestly, these are some of the more things that I deal with. Far as putting a frame in, this is probably one of the worst moments of getting a door to go in. It doesn't take me that long to get these in, honestly. But I wanted to show you some of the complications today that could arise when doing these. And this is just it. Sometimes, even in the same batch I've had of Franks, I've had to actually glue some of these in place because they just didn't want to cooperate. This batch seems to be fairly forgiving and sticky, which can sometimes even be a downfall to your project because then they just don't want to stay sometimes. But if this doesn't stay later on, I will come back, I'll pull it off and just do a thin coat of glue on the back, because it's being a booger right now. It's not the end of the world, but right now it's being a little on the feisty side. Like I said, it's going to be because this delicate piece actually got damaged. So I'm gonna probably have to come back later, and just put a thin layer on it and glue it down. So but for now, it's working. There. Finally. I still am going to have to come back and I'm going to probably glue it down. It's not the greatest, but it's in. I will have to I'm going to have to glue it down. It's just because, like I said, right around up in here, it got damaged and it affected it down here at the base. So, but I got it in. Now let's do the quicker part of things here. Okay. Now I'm gonna put this whole tower together, and then we'll get the top done and we'll be done for the day. I know we're running into 35 minutes. So I'm just gonna grab this other piece over here. And what I'm going to do is I'm just gonna go through and I'm just gonna roll on some glue onto these points. It's easier to do it on this side than on the other side. And I'm putting a little more glue on just because than I normally do, mainly because there was a damaged side, and that's okay because I want it to hold. Our neighbor's dogs are howling. You gotta love the country. And they bark at just about anything and everything. So it could be a rabbit, another dog, could be sirens in the distance to hear, because we're about a mile from the main highway. But that's just what dogs do. Come over here and just kind of double tack this down. Just tap it. Like I always do, I always tap the glue. And then now we are going to apply this together as one unit. And as you can see, it's just a square. That kind of thing. So this piece of the build is now done, finally. As always, these kits are fun to build. Frank has been... If you've been following Frank at Mud Creek Models, which is what I build, is mostly in scale, so that's who I pretty much get my models from, with a select other few people that I buy models from. Frank is just, he's just achieving and achieving and achieving and achieving. I'm very excited and happy for Frank. In fact, I'm really hoping that things work out this year, because there's a lot going on for me, buying a house, putting money away for that, that kind of thing. But the plan is to meet up with Frank and some of the other YouTubers that I am in connection with at the Great Train Show at Timonium. It's been saddened that I'm not taking my road trip this year. We are postponing it. But with much deliberation with my wife, we've decided that if I can save the money, she's and I have decided that I'll be able to fly back and join Frank and Natalie and everybody else at the train show that's there. So, yeah. So anyway, this part of the tower is now complete. What I want to do is I'm gonna have, as I said, this is not staying, so I'm gonna have to come back later and glue it in place. The windows are staying just fine, but the door is just being a booger. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come in and I'm gonna put the top on this build. So this piece here is gonna go right on the top of that. So what I'm gonna do is get some glue on my toothpick here, and I'm going to come around and I'm going to apply. This is where it's going to help hold it all together. Now there is some trim to this top part of the tower, and I have not got to that point yet in the build. So before we ended up here in a minute or so, I would like to let you know that when we come back, I will be showing you how the roof looks on the main part of the building. I'll have the main part of the building done with the windows and the roof will be all together, and we'll be just assembling the roof and essentially attaching the tower to the building, and everything else. So that's kind of where we are at in this. So now that I'm putting this on, what I will do is I will just put it upside down, and I will just kind of make it look as even as I possibly can, because you want it to look even when you when looking at it from all sides. So I just go around and I just move it to where I just try to do the best I can with it to, you know. And that looks just about right there. I'm gonna go with that, because in the end, when you do it, it's gonna be what you make it. But anyway, so that is the top. As I told you, I'm going to keep these all the same. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just quickly put these on the tower tops, which actually go right along here. That doesn't look right. Yeah, I got that. I need to make sure I put it on the right spot here. And get some glue. Dab it, and then take it, and then I'm gonna put this one on the back side. It's where I want to put it. Hold it for a second. Okay, there's one spear. Grab the next one. And just, that's why I dab my glue on after I get a little bit, so that it's already pre-smushed. So when you put the pressure on it, it doesn't ooze out as much or at all. This is the front. And whatnot. So we're doing good. Give it a second to set up there before I go in between the two of them. But nothing like a nice cup of hot coffee when you're drinking coffee and working on your project, man. And now we'll get these to go in. Now that I let it sit for a second, I'll get some glue on this piece. Dab it down. And take it and we'll put it on this side. Give that just a minute to kind of set up for a second, and while I get the glue on the last one, and whatnot. And we're just about ready to wrap this episode up for the day. We are 46.5 minutes into this. Quick announcements are that I am happy to say I'm almost ready to be complete with my special build that I'm working on, and that will be a fun build when we start it. I'm going to be starting it in February. We will be building it in February. I'm hoping to start building it sometime in February. And all that good stuff. So, we are working hard to get that ready to go. It is going to be a piece by piece build on the outside, and it's going to be it's going to end up being a two-structure building. I will not reveal it just yet, but it is going to be a fun build. And because I designed it, it'll be the first time putting it fully together, and I'm excited to be doing it. Frank encouraged me to do a video of the build. It may or may not be something that may be far out there or not. You know, I just love building them and coming up with new ideas. And Frank has always been the one to encourage me to do the videos, because he always likes seeing what I'm up to, and all that kind of thing. But we are glad to be getting another one done. I have 2 more that I'm working on, the plans for, but with everything going on, coming up at the end of next month, my wife and I are moving in with our in-laws because we're working on buying a house so that I can bring you better videos, because I'll have a permanent place to do all this. Right now, I'm in a small little space, going even smaller. But I'll have all of my same essentials here with me, just doing my videos in a much more smaller space. So my videos may be different starting in March, because of my space that I will be doing these videos. But I have all of my I will go through all of my storage that I have. I have a lot of cool storage drawers and everything, so I will go over that at some point, and show you kind of how I have everything and how small a space I will have when the time comes. But when we're done with this build, we're moving right along into this build. Let me back this video out a little bit. we're going to be doing this one. It is the Mud Creek Models General Store in N-Scale. Yes, Frank does have all of his kits, if not most of his kits, are now offered in both HO and N-Scale. But here's a sneak preview. This is kind of what I'm going with. This is the first thing. It's way different. It is way different than this. This is just the idea phase of it. I am just amazed with how I was able to get everything to come down to be worked out. So there is a second building to this, and I will reveal that when we build. But until then, the name of what it is and what it is still going to remain under wraps. But in the meantime, I'm going to be working on the roofing for this church. I'll get that done. I'll get the windows installed, and we'll marriage this whole thing together and call this project a wrap. And then we will start on the general store, get that done, and then by the end of the month, I should be ready to go to fully get my special build built all together, rather, and be ready to do the build. I'm planning on starting at sometime between the beginning of February, the first or second weekend or so in February is when I'm planning on starting it. So my work schedule has changed. So I am working nights now, so I will only get to be doing my build stuff a little bit in the morning or on the weekends. So yeah, a lot of changes coming, but I feel really excited about them. The biggest one this year, two of the biggest ones this year is A, getting to buy a house, and 2, getting to come to the East Coast for the first time and coming to a train show that I may get to come to again, but for me, it's once in a lifetime deal for me to come. I hope I get to come again, but those are just some of the highlights of my year, and I wish you all a happy and safe modeling. Stay dry and warm out there this week, and please, if you have not done so, I'm dying to find out what you've been up to. I really want to share. I want you to post on my page. I have a page called Hartwick Trains on Facebook. Please go there and show me what you're doing. With things, or in our group page. If you're in the group page, Mud Creek Models or Mud Creek Railroad, please go in there and post what you're doing with Frank's kits. I don't see a whole. I see some, but I don't see a whole lot. I'd like to see more. What are we all up to out there? What are we doing? So be sure to go over there to post it, and I will make sure that I jump over and look at that. But until then, happy modeling and stay safe. See you in the next video.